Welcome to the Homeschool How-To. I'm Cheryl, and I left the life of classrooms and cubicles for home educating in the countryside, but I have no idea how to homeschool, so I interview the people who do. Join me on my quest to learn all the ways there is to homeschool. Welcome, and with us today, I have Russ Davis, the creator of Shiba Inu. Is that how you go by?
No, it's okay. I have to correct people almost every time. I am one of the founders. I'm the founder of marketing. A founder is not necessarily the creator. The creators are Cal and Ryoshi are the two creators. They go by anonymous names. But I am a doxed founder, meaning documented. So this is my real name, which is a blessing and a curse.
So you're the one that has to take the fall, or,
Always.
who the hitman's running after. You're the face of it.
When crypto's down, it's because Russ is selling. It's all my fault.
Well, welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
So people are probably listening like, okay, this is a homeschooling podcast. What does Shiba Inu have to do with homeschooling? But, well, the backstory is that you had kind of reached out because you had thanked me for speaking out against, the forced mandates of vaccination. And I appreciate that. I love hearing from other people that are like, agree with the fact that we should know what gets injected into our bodies and our children's. Yeah. So thank you.
Otherwise, how are we the land of the free if we're being told what to do and putting stuff like poison into our bodies? I've never been so sick in my life since after the vaccine. So never take one again.
Oh, so you did. All right. Well, we'll get into that. But because you are so involved with the crypto, and you just stop me when I'm saying something wrong, because it really is a foreign language to me. But if we're homeschooling our kids, we kind of have to be up with the times and explain to them like what's going on. That'd be like homeschooling your kids and never telling them about the internet in, the 2000s.
You beat me to it. I already had like a mental list of things I wanted to talk about, and that's one of them.
Yeah, it's so important. And because I've been spending so much time learning how to podcast, learning how to home educate our kids, learning how to, what's in a vaccine, I haven't had time to look into crypto or anything about it. But it's funny because a week ago, I had a conversation with friends of mine who are from Poland, and they're big into it. And I was like, hey, should I invest some money in like a Roth IRA? And they're sending me all these books on crypto. And I'm like, guys, I can't. My brain can't take anymore. So I'm glad to have you here today. You can kind of dumb it down for us parents that just want to expose our children to what they should know in this evolving world of, I wouldn't even call it money, but finances.
Yeah, and that's also, people need to stop looking so myopically at what finance is and what money is, and stop looking at money through a microscope and pan out and start looking at it through a telescope, because money is whatever you want it to be. If I wanted to sell you, like, for instance, one of these original, cryptocurrency figurines, I mean, this is worth like $1,000. So, and so it's worth $1,000, or $1,000 is worth that figurine. Okay. That collectible. And when it comes to money, we have to understand that it's always been changing around us. What's different about crypto? The government didn't create it. So that's what's different. And so if you really think about the transitions that we have lived through, we were at one point trading seashells. Then we were trading precious metals that we literally carried in pouches on our sides. Then paper money, then perforated paper money, then credit cards, then digital forms of payment like PayPal and Venmo. The logical next steps are cryptocurrency and AI, artificial intelligence. And if we don't keep up with that, and you don't keep your children up to it, you're going to be you're going to have that kid who's 20 years old in college. It's like, I don't even know what the number one currency in the world is. The only currency that is congruent on every single continent is Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Trust me, it's not going anywhere. Okay. And that's a fact. It's not even an opinion anymore. And when you see people like Trump getting into, we're going to back up the gold reserves with digital gold, Bitcoin, all the other nations listen, and they're going to do the same thing. It's going to be a thing of the past for an individual like you and I to own a full Bitcoin. That's going to be a mystery, a myth. Like, no way. Geez, I'm exaggerating, because they want to control it. They need to control it. And so I think that right now, with Bitcoin being $100,000 per coin, we will see it probably hit $1 million within our lifetime. And because it's a finite number, it only decreases. Now you take the US dollar, if you take $100 100 years ago, that same $100 is worth $4.50 right now. Okay, so we're talking about a 95.5% decrease in its buying power, where Bitcoin 15 years ago was worth less than $1. It was actually a penny. It's only gone up thousands and thousands and thousands of percent. What do you think is the next? What do you think is going to go down to zero? No, it's not. It's just only going to go up. So you got to start learning about this now. I can remember in this, I tie everything into schooling, when my mom made me take typing classes in high school as an elective. And I was like, are we really going to be using computers? Because at that point, all we were doing was coding, these green screens. I'm like, I don't really give, two whatevers about a turtle, and me programming C++, makes this turtle go up and down, because nobody knew what the actual scope was on what the computer was and what the internet was. You've got only 2 or 3 decades ago, which is it's in our lifetime. And we were old enough to understand what the TV is. And the TV got, Matt Lauer on CBS, whatever it is. I don't know. But Matt Lauer saying, what is internet? 30 years before that, it would be crazy if you own 2 TVs. Come on, guys, we got to keep up with it. And that's keeping up with fun technology that's unnecessary to our lives. It's and it's not even an asset. Now you take cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and all the other different cryptocurrencies, and this is an asset. This is your money. This is your life. This is your college education for your kids. This is putting food on the table. What's more important than being able to provide for your family? And providing for your family is currency. And as I said before, start thinking about currency differently, because a baseball card is currency. Everything's a barter. The US dollar is no longer backed by gold as of the 1970s, and people still cling on to it but it's the US dollar. Yeah, it's the most depreciating asset on the planet. Good luck. That's fun for you. I'd rather watch paint dry than even deal with IRAs and all that kind of stuff, because you're just losing money. You're just losing less money than everybody else. So
what is the difference, to really dumb it down, between crypto? Where does Bitcoin fit in there, and where does Shiba Inu fit into there?
Okay. Yeah, great. So I will refer to, I'm not trying to name drop, but it definitely makes an impact when you hear billionaires talk about, I've had a couple one-on-one conversations with Kevin O'Leary, AKA Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. He is a very smart dude for a reason. And he understands what I understand about cryptocurrency, is that we have to stop thinking about it as cryptocurrency, because, and I call it crypto, because when you talk about people like yourself, you think, well, this is trying to replace the US dollar. What is it trying to do? Look, crypto is software. Okay. You've seen XRP, Ripple, in the news. They were the first crypto to take on the SEC, and they won. And they can make cross-border payments instant, within seconds, and for a matter of pennies of a transaction fee. Why does that matter to me? I'm cool with a day or two to get there. Western Union, they probably literally carry it on a wagon, But the thing is, it's not efficient. It's extremely expensive, and it's what's called centralized. There's somebody in between me trying to send you money that controls that money. The moment I give it to them, it's not my money anymore. Okay. When I donated money to Ukraine, and a lot of us did. I'm not special. A lot of us did. The majority of Ukraine's donations were cryptocurrency, because Russia had threatened the banks, if they were to accept money, that they were going to basically bomb them. And that's the government's control. This government cannot control. So a lot, over 50%, I forget the exact number because it varies on what you read, but it was a dramatic percentage of all the donations that were in crypto. That way you could guarantee nobody could stop it. So that's where it comes into IRL, in real life. What's that utility? What is the purpose of this coin? And Shiba is definitely a vessel for that. Shiba allows you to do inheritance of cryptocurrency because there are no laws on it. And if you want to give, if I want to give my niece cryptocurrency, as a college fund, the government wants to tax me on that. That's bullshit. Tell me if I'm allowed to swear on this.
Sure, why not? I can bleep out anything.
um, so and Shiba does some stuff with with your name and you owning your intellectual property and cryptocurrency, so that you can actually transfer crypto. It's mostly for, if someone was to die and you inherit that crypto, it gets transferred over, and there's double and triple authentication so that we know that it's going to the right person. And you set that up. You're setting up a will that will transfer it without the government interfering.
So is it taxed?
No, only if you take it out as cash. Yeah.
Okay. So that's once you transfer it to a different means.
Yeah. I mean, you take Kamala Harris's stance on it, and we're gonna tax unrealized income for crypto is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. I can't even believe that came out of her mouth, because crypto goes up and down. So potentially you could be at the spike on December 31st and you have $100,000 in your portfolio. And then by tax time, you pay 40%. That's what they wanted to do. So now you've got 60K. But then by the time you're even paying your taxes, that crypto is no longer in existence because it just wasn't a good cryptocurrency. So now you've paid 40,000 and you have nothing. So you paid $40,000 for something that you don't even have anymore. So unrealized gains, that's craziness. So it's a way to transfer as an asset and keep it as an asset, and you hold it. And when you want to cash it up, then you pay taxes on it like a normal person, like a normal investment, like real estate or this or that. But for a reasonable, I mean, you can't be taxing people 40.5%. And that's something that is extremely important to know. I remember how much I had to declare bankruptcy when I was 27 because my concept of money was so antiquated. My dad is a surgeon. My mom is a teacher. Like my grandpa were plumbers and nurses. I mean, like this is what you got, 4 options. And I'm from a trad fi background, traditional finance. They don't teach us real world stuff.
No.
Okay. So
not in school. No.
So here I am. I get a job making $100,000 and like a year, and I think I am like invincible until my taxes come, and then I'm just like, whoa, I'm in debt. Or people even, this is simple probably for you and I, but the normal college kid doesn't really understand what a 28% first credit card APR looks like. 28% is tremendous.
Right.
Okay. And it compiles.
Because it's not one time, it's on like recurring, and they don't really go through that in school, what a recurring debt looks like. Or even when you take a car loan, it's only, I had a girl say to me one time, oh, it's fine. It's only like 7% interest on a car loan. That's so small. I'm like, what? If you pay it once, but you're paying it every month. And when it compounds, you're paying for the car, like 5 times or something.
Yeah. It's only a matter of a couple of years ago where credit cards now put a chart and say, if you pay minimum payment, it's going to take you 15 years. And that $3,000 debt you have is actually going to be paid off by $8,000 by the time you pay it off. And over the course of 15 years, and chances are you're going to have more debt in your 20s and 30s than $3,000 at one point. And so it just spirals out of control. And I had to just stop it and learn and educate myself on everything. And I realized that working my job wasn't going to get me to where I really wanted to be financially, to consider myself financially free. And cryptocurrency is that option. It's the only currency that levels the playing field, no matter what color you are, no matter what gender you are, where you live in the world. You can buy Shiba Inu for 0.00002, which means it's less than 1 penny, which would be 0.01. So this is basically the cheapest way to potentially achieve financial freedom that you've ever had in existence of mankind, with better odds than the lottery and much more smarter investments than stocks. And people will challenge me on that. Nobody's going to win on that debate. Okay. If you just so happen to be a genius, okay, and you chose the top stocks their returns annually are barely keeping up with inflation plus a couple percentage points. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. You're actually profiting like 2-3%. So to put it in a real perspective, if you have $100,000 and you gain 3%, that's 103,000. Are you really getting anywhere? Like, I mean, guys, no, you're really not. I'm sorry to like become like the bearer of bad news, but you've got to diversify into. People have to be a little bit more risk tolerant because what they say and how they invest are not equating. Well, of course, I want to own a timeshare here. I want a house in Myrtle Beach. I want this or that. And then you look at their investments, and it's like, you're never going to get there. I'm sorry. Like, I'm good at math. That's my thing. It's the only thing I got going for me right now is math. And the thing is, you have to understand it. So math is very important, and crypto inadvertently teaches you math and how things compile and where you need to be to achieve your goals. And it's, to me, it's the most important thing right now to start educating your children on. It's a lot. It should be right along the lines of history, and your basic math classes, your social studies, your chemistry and your science, all that. It needs to be not an elective. It needs to be mandatory because this is typing. This is internet.
Right. And that's a great comparison, what you were saying before, to why do I have to take typing back in the 90s when we were in school? It's like, well, yeah, I looked at it as like, well, my mom's a secretary for the state. I don't want to be a secretary. Why do I have to take typing? But little did we know. Okay,
Yeah.
so like even for myself, like I kind of get it. And when you said you're buying like a software type, I think, yeah, our brains feel like we need that tangible thing. Like, well, what is it? Because how do I know somebody isn't standing behind a computer just changing the value of it to suit their own needs every day, which they're still doing with the American dollar. I mean, because we're no longer on the gold standard. But, like, so, and how do you like buy milk, or if an EMP hit and we had no more electricity, like that sort of thing. I think that's kind of what I'm the homeschooling podcast. That's like doomsday. That's what differentiates me between like, let's go to church on Sunday. It's like, no, we're growing food and, storing it in the bunker.
Awesome. Love it. No, I love it. I love it. I love it. And, when it comes to, a total apocalypse, then you know what? Currency is going to be a lot different than paper money too. Okay?
It's going to be like your cow and your chickens or something.
Exactly. So odds of that, I think that if we're in an apocalypse and we don't have any electricity, I don't think the humans are surviving that anyways.
Yeah.
So
a lot of them are not. You're right.
But and if you're surviving in a bunker, I don't think you're bartering with outside sources. So
that's true.
Okay, it's like that. It's like that show Silo on Apple TV. It kind of brings up that kind of doomsday stuff. But that is also, I can't hold it. Yeah, you're holding a credit card. You're not holding money either.
Well, and that's true. So what are the parallels there? Because I'm thinking back to like, I was born in 84. So, and credit cards, like we really didn't have them a lot growing up. Or if you did, it was like my mom was like putting something on layaway. Like, I don't know if people remember that. She wasn't putting it on her credit card. I don't even know what the credit card was for, but you bought gas with cash. You went in and paid cash for it. Yeah. So I can imagine that as we turned into like the credit card era, it was the same thing. These people are like, how do I know that my $50 is, really going to be there when I tell the bank to send it to Visa? That's really happening, and they're being honest. So can you compare that with crypto?
I can compare it to probably better than most people because I own a credit card processing company.
Okay.
And so I know all about how it works. And you think about, and I know all the stats and all the, like in this year, how many people processed, and the percentage of people that use checks and this and that. Back in the day, you used checks and cash. Yep. Now, fast forward, not a whole lot. We're not talking about 100 years ago. We're talking about a decade, 10, 20 years. Now, it's all credit cards. It's Sky Miles, and it's rewards points, and it's every other commercial is credit cards. And the thing is that's crypto right now in the infantile stage. And you know what? You're going to need to learn it. It's just a matter of when. And stop with the, oh, it's not tangible. Nothing you spend your money as tangible. When you go on the computer, is your keyboard the currency? No, you're transferring money from your account. Everything's online anyways. Okay. It just so happens that that's where everything is. And then you don't have middlemen. So there's a thing called the blockchain. The
Okay.
blockchain is a decentralized, nobody controls it, ledger, just like you would be balancing your checkbook back in the day. It balances everything for you. You have a registered ID and an address, and it says all the transactions that you've ever done under a website called etherscan.io. And that is the decentralized bank records of every single person in the world that's ever dealt with cryptocurrency. So things are transparent. They cannot be hacked because in order for me to send you a transaction, it's computers that are actually verifying the truth behind me wanting to send you this crypto. And it's way beyond what they can do in a minute would take more than a lifetime of one person to figure out on their own. It's not something you can do by hand. So
Wow.
the computers work on and what's called mining, just like kind of like mined gold. So it's a play on words. They're mining these transactions. They get a small portion, like little penny here and there, sometimes bigger depending on how big a transaction is. But everything's verified. It's 100% safe, and it is unhackable because nobody controls it. So, if I send you money from my TD Bank to your Bank of America, and there's one sketchy person in between, then we don't see the money, and then they just blame it, and the FDIC takes care of it, whoever. But if it's crypto and I send you money, nobody can stop it. You're going to receive it, and it's very quick. If and to go back to your spending point, I have a crypto.com debit card. It's free to receive. You just sign up on crypto.com. You get a debit card, and then just like you would transfer money through Zelle or PayPal or Venmo, you go onto your crypto account and you say, I want to deposit Shiba or Dogecoin or Bitcoin or Ethereum. You select one, you transfer it. Now your debit card says new balance, $1,000. And I tap it on whatever, it is a credit card, a debit card. It works the exact same. You as the merchant do not know that I was actually converting cryptocurrency because the crypto.com company takes care of that conversion in less than 0.01 seconds. And just like a debit card, you tap it and it goes bing, and then you take your product, whether it's online or in person. So we are actually already spending tons of crypto in the retail markets.
Wow. I had no idea. So
Yeah. So
like I could get this card and go to
yeah,
the store or go on
yeah.
Amazon even and use it?
Hey, of course, anywhere that accepts debit cards or any place on the planet that accepts debit cards actually accepts crypto, whether they know it or not.
That's so interesting. Okay, so when you think long term, okay, I have $10,000 sitting in a bank account. Not like most people probably don't even have that, but
Yeah.
but if
No,
it's just sitting in a bank account growing nothing, is that something you should be putting in like a crypto account or
so I'll let you know what my line of questioning is when I'm consulting with. I do a lot of celebrities and high net worth individuals, like millions, billions, even some of my clients. And so, what is your risk tolerance from a 1 to 10? Are you one risk averse, meaning I'm not risky? Like I just want. I
like
don't trust anything.
right, this is
Or
all I
the
have. I
10?
need it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And I've been there. Like I said, I had to declare bankruptcy. It was like, I can't afford to be, my mind and my money are not on the same level. And then there's a 10, which, some people are just like, look, I'm not gonna make it doing this. Either whether it's you didn't get a college degree or you just never found your passion and you're a job that is just not really going to get you where you need to be. But I want to be financially free. And so your risk tolerance might be a lot higher, but so we gauge it from there. Now, for the risk averse people, then I'm going to stack your portfolio, your crypto portfolio, with more Bitcoin, which is safer and more like consistently growing, and Ethereum. And then your next layer of like your mid range, your 4 to 7 out of 10 range would be your Shibas, You might even put actually XLM, which goes by the name Stellar Lumens, is a cryptocurrency run by a lot of people that used to work for Microsoft. Very smart company. XRP, Ripple, it's got a cult following because they took down the SEC. And that was a monumental, I mean, that is a monumental case right there. Crypto versus the SEC. And then you've got some, these other stable coins like Avalanche is a blockchain, $21 billion company. And so that's something that I would graft towards, what your personality is. And then we start talking about how much can you afford to invest. Just like the stock market, it's still a gamble. It's a lot more volatile than the stock market, but your gains are going to be a lot more and your losses can be more, but you got to look at it long term. So what is your long term? Is your long term 6 months or is your long term 5 years? And then what are you trying to achieve? What in crypto, people say when Lambo, which is a term, say, when am I going to get a Lambo? Because all these people they hear stories. I put in $100 and I bought a Lamborghini within, like a month. So it's a term called when Lambo. But Lambo is an interpretation. Your Lambo, you need to figure out what it is. Is it being able to buy Starbucks without looking at your bank account? Is it your Lambo might be putting food on the table. Your Lambo might be paying for cancer treatment. Your Lambo could be paying for in vitro. It could be paying for your divorce. It could be setting up a college, a trust fund for this. What is your Lambo? That is the question as well. And then I'll curate the perfect portfolio for you.
Okay, so these are basically like investing in the stocks. So it's like, okay, you can invest in Amazon or you can invest in, I don't know, whatever else. So that's how you can kind of think of like Shiba Inu's place in crypto and Bitcoin's place in crypto. Like, so Bitcoin
100%.
is the same. It's just that happens to be the one that everybody like knows.
Yeah, and it's also, Bitcoin has a total supply that can never be increased of 21 million coins.
And
1 million.
who's determines that?
Okay, so the guy who created it, his online screen name is Satoshi Nakamoto. Nobody knows who his real identity is. Nobody even knows if he's still alive. But when you put in codes, you have the ability to renounce them. Renouncing is locking them, and you don't have keys to get back in. So you can't go back and change your mind. If you renounce a tokens or a coin, I won't get into the differences, but let's just say any coins coding, you can't just change your mind and say, well, now I want this or that to happen, and I want to increase supply. You'd have to come out with a different one. So Bitcoin being 21 million, which the final ones being released will be, it's based on transaction volume. So it'll be probably within the next 20 years, and then they'll all be in circulation. 1 million is still held under the account for Satoshi Nakamoto. So now you've got 20. Then when you sign up for a cryptocurrency wallet online that holds your different coins, you have what's called a seed phrase or a passphrase, which is a sequence of 12 words in order. And as long as you're signed into your account, you can always go into your security section. Hey, let me see my passcode again. And you write it down, you put it in a safe somewhere, because if you lost your phone, like I've lost my phone in the ocean before, and then you'd have to sign back in with that passcode. You've lost it forever if you don't know, because it's not held on a server somewhere, because there's no person in between you and your money. You control the keys.
Wow.
So
there's probably so many that people lost the passcode.
So if you think about, I've been in crypto for 10 years, so I'm considered one of the OGs, and we like my friends that are also OGs, like we've come to a conclusion that there's probably only about 12 to 13 million Bitcoin still left on the planet, and that's
and this was out of how many? 21 million?
Yeah, because only 19 million right now are in circulation. The other two would be distributed over the next 20 years. 1 million of that 19 is Satoshi's, which I don't think he's alive, but he's never going to touch it because that's to prove his point. And so then you've got 13, let's say 13 million. You've got 58 million millionaires on the planet, meaning if every millionaire on the planet wanted to own Bitcoin, there would only be enough for them to own less than 1/3 of one Bitcoin. That's math. When
Okay.
you think about it like that, you want to get some. It doesn't matter what price it is. You've got to think of percentages, and the percentages are only going to go up.
It is so
In my
true. It's
opinion.
like, but what is it? I don't care. There's only a limited amount. Let's get some.
Yeah,
It's that's so
yes,
funny.
and and I'm scientific about a lot of this because if you ask somebody to explain the U.S. dollar, okay, so there's trillions being made every year. It decreases in value every year. Less and less places accept it. Um, let's see. It says separation of church and state, but it's got a lot of stuff that's very churchy on the backs of the dollar bills. It doesn't make any sense. And if you need more of it, your country just makes more of it.
Mhm.
What in the, how is that even successful?
Right.
So we have to stop being, and I love you. You obviously think outside the box. You're about homeschooling. You got to think outside the box. And I'm sorry, but the government can't be trusted for everything. Okay,
For
it can't.
nothing, pretty much. My followers would probably say for nothing.
I was about to say that, but I don't know. I would agree with you on a lot of that.
Yeah, yeah, no, I don't even think they work for us anymore. So
No, they
I would
don't.
think they would like to see our downfall more than anything.
Yeah, and you know what? Being one of the leaders in the entire industry for cryptocurrency, I have the luxury or ability, I don't know, to hang out with people that have a lot of power. And it just gets more and more corrupt. The more people I hang out with, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm hearing you guys talk about this. And it's like they don't give a shit about people.
No.
Like it's really messed up. So
Yeah.
yeah, I could
I
agree
think,
with you.
yes, my eyes opened up to it. I was one of the, traditional people. I worked for the government, just New York State, going to work every day. Okay, can't wait for my pension. Can't wait for my pension. Just because they tell me that's what I should be excited about. Nobody gets a pension anymore. You're so lucky. You're going to get a pension.
So
So I'm like,
rare.
oh, cool. I'm one of the lucky ones. And then every day you're just going through this rat race of like, rushing off to work, sitting in a cubicle for 8 hours, and then rushing home. And then when I had kids, it was like, oh, geez, I'm rushing off to get him to daycare so that I can sit in a cubicle and he can sit in someone's living room all day.
Yeah.
And then the masking thing happened in New York. Cuomo was making 3-year-olds mask, and my husband and I were like, hell no, you're not putting something
Oh,
over our kid's face. So that
unbelievable.
was my opening into, oh my God, could I actually homeschool? We're not like, we don't whittle, we don't sew. I don't know what. So I was
But
like, let's,
you churn your own butter. I get it. It's fine.
well, pretty soon I might be if we can get a cow. Well, we do have
Right?
chickens now, so it's so funny. But I didn't come from this background at all. So it's like, yes, as I started looking into things, I was like, wow, the government really does not have our back. And obviously, like you were mentioning in the beginning, the COVID shots, and then you get into looking at all the other shots, and you're like, Jesus, you people never tested this? You
Yeah.
never tested it at all? Like, what are you talking
So,
about?
I mean, and so I was telling you about a little bit about my parents' background. So my dad being a surgeon, and so he's I know because I was in the medical field that you're supposed to be doing 6-year studies on these drugs,
Mhm.
and now all of a sudden this new virus that we've never heard of, didn't invent, and we've got it in three
Yeah,
months. And it's
yeah.
Pfizer and Johnson, multi-trillion-dollar companies. Great, that makes sense. And if you if you drink, if you smoke, if you're above a certain age, if you're above a certain weight, it might not work for you. My parents have never drank, never smoked. They're in the best shape, much better shape than all of us are in. And they are of normal age, and they got COVID more than once by taking the vaccines. I had to take the
Oh,
vaccine for travel for work, or I was going to lose my own job working for myself and have to figure something out. So it's all bullshit. I'm just sorry, it is.
yeah.
And I will never take it again because that's not your decision to make for my body.
Well, and yes, and that's how it started. And then you really start to look at the rest of the schedule, which even having when my son was born, oh, you take him to the pediatrician. Well, they know what they're doing. They went to school. They care about your child, right? Well, so I did everything. But after COVID, I was like, well, what else? Like, how do you do a normal vaccine study? And so then I started really looking into all the rest of them. And I was like shocked at just the little, like our government regulatory agencies are supposed to be there to protect us, the people. and they're not. They're actually protecting the Pfizers, the Johnson and Johnson. We're not even allowed to sue Pfizer.
Exactly. So I know, right? Now bear with me on this. It might take a second to figure out where the heck I'm going with it. But like when you said that about doctors, it immediately brought up something in my mind. And those doctors are experts at what they were given and the facts that they were given. And we talk about nutrition. Now, my mom's a nutritionist. Okay, so that's what she teaches: is what to eat, what not to eat. But everything that she researches is based on what people, what these companies are telling her as facts. And she has come full circle and said, well, back in the day, this was supposed to be what it was. Now, here's the root of it. Don't quote me on the dates. I want to say it was the 50s, but whenever the Food and Drug Administration was invented, the government said, who's going to control it? And General Mills looked at each other and said, we'll do it. We'll even create the food pyramid with our highest profit products being the most of what you should eat and drink and consume. So they invented the food pyramid, which just got changed to a circle. But the thing is, everyone's been studying that nutrition and this Western, like medicine or this medicine. And it's basically on what people have invented and people are telling them is true. It's not a law. It's not 100%. And so that's why these people are ignorant a lot of the times. And then you also have to take into consideration the difference between a doctor that graduates medical school with a 99 percentile and the doctor with a 71 percentile is nothing. They both put their degrees on their walls. So you've got to get second and third opinions. You got to DYOR, do your own research when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to cryptocurrency and investments. And then there's people like me who I've made a living off of this crypto business on just being someone who you can trust, which is the number one rule is don't go for the easiest, cheapest, and loudest person in the room that sounds like a used car salesman. And after being in this industry for 10 years and everything's on the blockchain, everything is on this ledger that says Russ has actually never cheated anybody out of money. I think you can trust me at this point. So you use people that are experts in their field, and you know what? Get another opinion other than mine too, because someone might have much better research on XRP than I do. And they might be into the biomedical cryptocurrencies, and I might be more focused on the ones that have like real world utility and get you like discounts at restaurants and clubs just for owning their NFT collection, like their digital, like again, a digital asset. But again, there's so much we could talk about when it comes to that. Always get a second opinion. Unless you're talking to me, I'm the only person you need to talk to. Just kidding. And but yeah, you got to gather and DYOR, do your own research on a lot of this.
So,
not everything.
Yeah, where do people even start to research? Are there courses? Are there things like are there courses on cryptocurrency that we can offer our kids or ourselves?
For me, I've found that when I've dabbled and paid to see what these guys are talking about, most of it is BS, and most of it is very, and you've got to research reviews and see what people are saying about it.
And that would be like a review on that, like a Shiba Inu or a Bitcoin.
Yeah. And but don't look at reviews on specific coins. The reviews on coins are completely objective, like to that person. If someone lost a lot of money on Shiba because they bought it at the top and right now it's down at the moment, even though it'll most likely, in my opinion, be much higher than what the the current all-time high is. People are like, oh, that's the worst project in the world. And then you've got these really dumb coins, which there's a lot of dumb ones that have no purpose whatsoever. It's just a fact that they're like, this is the best coin ever because they're just trying to promote it, But
yeah, when I was talking to my Polish friends, they were trying to explain that to me, and they're like, yeah, there's a coin with the what's that damn, like, is it a rabbit or no, the frog.
Pepe.
Yes, Pepe. Back with the whole, what was that stupid thing called? Trump and people were Q, like at the Pepe frog. So that's like a coin that people will buy.
It's a coin, and
but it's not a physical coin that gets sent to you and you put in your wallet.
Again, nothing is physical when it comes to that, unless you are going through one of the companies that I'm one of the owners of is called Shibacles, Shiba Physicals. So let's say you own an NFT. NFTs, this is a whole other segment for us because I only have a couple more minutes before I gotta go. But let's do a segment on NFTs and actually show why people spend $90,000 on the picture of a penguin called a pudgy penguin, or
well, that's because Hunter Biden painted it, and there's probably drugs behind it or something.
He painted it with a white sun. Okay, that's not for kids. And so because NFTs are all about monetization, and NIL, the name and likeness, self monetization. So when you own an NFT, you own all the rights to it. And there are it's like owning a piece of art. It's all registered under a registry, and same with NFTs. So an NFT might be of this guy right here. So this is Shitoshi, the guy who's in charge of Shiba. But this was a digital image that now we made it into a not just a toy, but a collectible. And you can take your phone out, put it on your camera, and like you would a QR code, it will register the chip that's embedded in that and send you to a website, or send you a discount code, or send you alpha information on the project. And we can change that so they can go to a different site every 5 minutes, every hour, every day, every week, every month. And so it's incorporating physicals into digital technology, and it's a hybrid. And now you can sell these. If I'm Shitoshi and I can sell you these for $80 a piece, I mean, this one goes for a lot more. This is the original prototype. It's probably worth thousands of dollars, but the thing is, we can make like Russ the rapper. He made we put him in the bubble, like the GI Joes come in that little bubble packaging. And for us, our cost to make from what we were selling them at $100 a piece, nice profit margin. Within 1 day, we were finding that they had already sold, not being listed. That's a whole different, that's not real. What were they selling for? $800 a piece, because people are fanatics about Russ the rapper. People are fanatics about Britney Spears, or if people are fanatics about Hunter Biden, then you've got him in whiteface. I don't know. Like they probably pay thousands of dollars for this. But so that's monetization of your NFT, and now nobody can copy that. So it's all about like, how can you turn this into your own business? And so that's stuff I do with my In Russ We Trust brand. So for my In Russ We you can go to www.inrusswetrustcrypto.com, and I do one-on-one consulting. It's not financial advice. I'm just going to say, look, here's what I know. Here's my portfolio based on all your risk tolerance and your, what you can afford to gamble with and invest in, and your time frames, this and that. This is what I would do. Take it or leave it. You're not paying me money to invest for you. I'm not controlling your portfolio, but that's how I'm self-monetizing myself with the knowledge that I have on cryptocurrency. Okay. And so that's what I do for my non-Shiba products, because we don't do cross-pollination with Shiba and my stuff. They're completely different companies. But I am one of the head marketers for Shiba Inu, and a part owner of Shibacles, which is an official partner of Shiba. And I run a lot of projects. There's a lot of us that run these projects, and all of us have, different sets of knowledge, and self-monetization is really where people will succeed when the market's down. And so I can teach anybody how to make money in crypto, even when the market's down. Again, we could do a bunch of these podcasts. I think I was telling you probably off air. This is my 5th podcast of the day. It's a little aggressive, but it's the day after Christmas, and so they're like, "Well, we gave Russ a day off, even though they really didn't." So now everyone's like, "Oh, let's get him immediately." But so plenty to talk about if you feel like having him back.
Absolutely. And I will put your information in the show's description so people can, just click on the link. They don't have to remember the website that you said, and check that out. I also want to point out a book that you have been a part of, The Bitcoin Cinderella and the Spirit of Shiba Inu, The Diary of the Blockchain Adventure Series. So this is book 3 out of 4. The Bitcoin Cinderella and the Spirit of Shiba Inu. In this enchanting adventure, Bitcoin Cinderella and her loyal Shiba Inu puppy, Shibit, begin their journey in the mystical mountains of Japan. They are soon transported to the land of Connect, where they meet Farmer Russ, Neo, and a group of farm animals, all all working together to create a thriving community based on a token economy. In Connect, Bitcoin Cinderella also meets the wise Shiba Inu and learns the inspiring history of the Shiba Inu community. Guided by visionary leaders Satoshi and Ryoshi, these leaders are devoted to building a truly decentralized token-based community where collaboration and innovation drive the future. This magical story introduces readers to the fascinating world of digital assets while celebrating the power of community and the spirit of decentralization. This book is written for all ages, families, and professionals to enjoy. So I will link that in the show's description for anyone to check out. I highly suggest it.
Yeah,
I
you
definitely
can
do that.
see some of my early interviews, which I can't watch. I cringe at them, but like I've been on Fox News, CNN, NBC, CNBC, if I didn't say that, Benzinga, and I can't even count the amount of podcasts. I actually just put one of my assistants to work today and said, look, I looked at the website and we're missing like 100 some odd podcasts. So go gather that information. So because we're about to revamp the website, but you know, I can at least substantiate that the networks trust me, and that's for a reason, because I really do want people. I want to help people out. I want you to understand the future before it's completely here. And I'll leave you with this one very mind-blowing stat. The question I get is, am I too late? 7% of the world population owns a cryptocurrency wallet. 93% have not adopted cryptocurrency and are not educated and do not own one coin. That is not saturation. If 93% have already adopted it, you've missed out on a lot of projects. Get in now. In my opinion, it will pay off. Trust me, I've got plenty of success stories and testimonials and all that kind of stuff. So, and this is just the start.
So, and just to like summarize kind of what you said, we can get in as a long-term investment, but there's also short-term use versus using your Visa card, using your MasterCard, okay. So there's like two levels. It can be the everyday debit card, but it can be your stock market, 401k kind of investment.
Yeah, and the more you invest in some of these certain coins, we get 2% back for when we spend money on our airline, or 3% back at the grocery store. Some of these crypto cards are giving 10% back in their native token, and when that token goes up, you're up so much because you're compiling so many free tokens by just using your debit card and saying, yeah, I want to use Crow, the crypto.com coin, or Shiba, and you get incentivized like 5 times more than for using a traditional credit card. So,
oh wow, awesome, Russ! Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a wealth of information that is definitely needed.
I know it's a lot, but hey, thank you so much for having me, and we'll do it again, and we'll tackle like one thing at a time. This was like a nice, fast, but good overview of a lot of different subjects that I could, like I said, I could teach an entire semester about just NFTs and teach your spring semester on just meme coins. So
we might need you to do that. Our kids and us are in need. Thank you.
Thank you so much.